year a report on the safety. What type of measures did they do this year to keep the building safe? Let's make sure that if a 40-year inspection or 50-year inspection is required, that they're following through on it. Something. Mr. Julio Urbana, former representative, suggested, how about using that $6 million towards a safety task force to investigate potential condo crime? Instead, ignore it. Any suggestion on how to use that money is completely ignored, and instead it's swept into the general revenue fund. Or they're so far ahead, you would think, tell the condos 1 year, don't have to pay. We had a $6 million surplus from last year. This year, you don't have to pay it. Nope. Condo members keep getting screwed, quite frankly. They keep paying it. The money's supposed to go back to them. How about this? The money is supposed to be held, you ready for this, in what's called a trust fund. I always said this. If a client gave me money,
oh Lord,
and I put it in my trust account,
right, and you
and I used it for something else, I go to prison,
yes,
right?
Yes.
When it happens to the condominium owners in the state of Florida, not a thing. Zero happens to the Florida legislature. They don't have to account for it at all. So that's an extra $6 million at least that they get from the condom owners in the state, that they get to do whatever they want to. And to me, quite frankly, it's criminal that it's not spent on the unit owners who actually pay it.
Yeah, it is.
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely, 100%. I think we're over our time here. Do you want to go to break? Or
what time is it, 11:18?
Yeah,
it probably is. Just want to say just one thing in closing. We got to be really careful because there's consequences, big consequences, if you fail to pay your taxes, right, or fail to pay your condo dues. There's similarities. Number one, your house is going to be sold at a foreclosure sale by the condo or HOA, right? But what happens if you don't pay your taxes? Your house will be sold at a tax sale.
Ugh.
Okay? Your home could be taken by the IRS and sold at a tax sale. So bottom line, keep the assessments and your taxes rolling in, or you take a big risk of having to roll out. But let's hear what our listeners and our YouTube viewers have to say. What's worse, paying your taxes or paying your condo and HOA fees, right? Give us a call, 877-850-8585. Again, 877-850-8585. And, of course, watch us on YouTube. We'll be back right after this.
There are very large management companies, and there are very small management.
Oh no, an unexpected leak. Jay, you know that's no way to solve a roof problem. Call Best Roofing. We solve roof problems.
We are DMI Paving and Seal Coating, Florida's parking lot experts. We specialize in asphalt paving and repair, including pothole repair, seal coating using JC7 or polytar, concrete curbs, ramps, and walkways, and striping and pavement marking, as well as ADA compliance. We service commercial properties, including homeowners associations, apartment communities, shopping malls, warehouses, stadiums and arenas, and more. Experience is worth more than anything in an industry like ours, and our staff has decades of it. We have specialized equipment for any job, regardless of size, saving you time and money. DMI has a reputable history. We have been in business since 1956. We serve the state of Florida from 6 locations. Let us bid on your next parking lot project. Visit us online at dmipavingandsealcoating.com.
There are very large management companies, and there are very small management companies. And I think Affinity sits somewhere in the middle of that, where they are big enough to provide you with all of the back of the house services, the accounting, the infrastructure, the support systems, but small enough to be high touch.
We believe at Affinity that we do the 9 to 5 so that you don't have to do that.
Here on 850 WFTL. We are live on YouTube at our YouTube channel, Condo, Craze, and HOAs. Please go ahead and like us, share, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. Also, you can call us, 877-850-8585. When I say us, I mean Karen Curtis and also the attorney, Eric Glazer from Glazer & Sachs. He specializes in community association law, right, Eric?
Absolutely. And that's one of the big changes, actually, in Florida law over the last couple of years. With everything that didn't change, the one thing that did change is, the Florida bar finally recognized the fact that, a lot of people go to board-certified doctors,
That's
like in
right.
cardiology or nephrology or whatever it may be. Well, the Florida bar finally recognized that condo and HOA law is kind of like so complicated that they allowed certain attorneys to be classified as experts in the area. And out of 100,000 lawyers in the state of Florida, think about that, 100,000 lawyers, only 195 are board certified in condo law.
195.
Yeah, and you see that little degree over my head?
I do.
I don't think. Yeah, that's the degree that you get if you're actually certified in condominium law. So one of the things you want to know when interviewing your attorney is, are you board certified? Do you have that little diploma that Eric has above his head? So that's something you want to look for, either if you're an association or if you're simply a member of an association.
How many condo and HOA attorneys are there?
That are board certified?
No, that just are.
Well, there's probably hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands,
Okay.
that do it. But out of all of them, out of all attorneys, there's less than 200 in the entire state
Good grief.
that can claim to be experts. So, all right, how about we go to the phones? First call of the day, Barry in Miami. We can always count on Barry. How are you, Barry?
Hey, Barry.
Good. Hi, happy Passover, happy Easter.
Thank you very much. How are you?
Good. Look, what I'd like to talk about is a topic I don't know if you know much about it, mandatory board education.
No, he only invented it.
No, nothing at all. Can you tell me about it? Educate me.
Hey!
No,
Right.
no, you know more than I'll ever know about it. I think there's one shot and only one shot to get mandatory board education. I don't think you can have a bill in 2023 and then add to it in 2024. I think it's a one-time only shot.
Right.
And the question is, how broad a bill do you want to make it? And my suggestion, and I'd like to hear your thoughts, is that applying it only to new board members doesn't get the job done. Say you have 5 board members, and one of the board members is newly elected after 7/1/2023.
Right.
The other 4 members have been sitting on the board for 25 years. They signed the certificate, and they've never taken the course.
Great question.
Those
Okay.
are the board members. Those are the board members who really dictate what happens on the board, and those are the board members that most need to take your course.
100%. So Barry noticed that the obvious is that the laws that get passed typically go into effect July 1st of every year. So let's say we do have a law passed right next year that would go into effect on July 1st, 2023, right? Okay, and it says you now have to be you must mandatorily take a educational class to serve on the board. Well, would that apply to people who are already on the board, or would it apply to people only going forward who get elected after July 1st, 2023? And Barry is 100% right. What good would the law do if someone is serving on a board for 20 years, they've never taken an educational class, right? And if the law isn't worded correctly, even if it passes, they may never have to take an educational class. So you're 100% right, Barry. It should be drafted very carefully that for all board members going forward, if you've never taken an educational class, you must, within 90 days of either the act being passed or the election occurring, whichever comes first. And I think that's a great point that you raise. And you know me, Barry, I'm going to try my hardest to make sure that happens. That I can tell you. But that's a great point that I got to remember next legislative session. We don't want anybody skirting the issue by saying, doesn't apply to me. right? Because I don't. I've been on the board for 10 years. You can't apply it retroactively or any other
But I thought we
argument
had
like
term
that.
limits.
Yeah, you can impose term limits in your condo, but most don't have it. Believe it or not.
I thought there was a law that said you
nope.
had.
Hey, well, that law went away. The law that you're talking about. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. It's amazing how many. One question always branches off to another.
Sorry.
So no. You raised a great point.
I'm so confused.
I teach this now as a matter of fact, at the educational classes that Barry is talking about. So there was a law that was passed that, remember, it said if you've served on a condo board for 8 consecutive years or more, you can run for the board, but you only get elected if 2/3 of the people vote for you,
right,
or if there's no competition.
Right.
Well, the Florida legislature has now determined that law, the first year we start counting is as of July 1st, 2018. Okay?
Right.
So if the first year is July 1st, 2018, it only matters 8 years from July 1st, 2018. So I tell everybody when I teach it now is forget about this law, and I'll talk to you about it again on or after July 1st, 2026, because that's the only time it'll be important. And Barry wants to make sure, and he's absolutely right, that there's no provision in the educational bill that would allow directors to kind of weasel their way out and be prevented or simply not having to take an educational class. Barry, I really, really appreciate the tip. Don't worry, we'll be making sure we dot our I's and cross our T's. I really appreciate the phone call. How about we go to George in Delray?
Yeah, hi, how are you?
All right, good morning, George. What's up?
We live in a condominium association. They're all one-story buildings. There's 106 units, and there's 106 buildings, and there's 4 families per building.
So there's over 400 families living on its own one story.
That's right. They're all one-story buildings.
Gotcha.
Correct.
Okay.
The common element in the washroom that has electrical panels, the board wants to replace those panels, and because they're made by Federal Pacific.
Right.
And if the hopes is that our insurance will go down if we replace those Federal Pacific panels.
Right.
And they want $900 per family to do that. A former president of mine, he's sitting next to me, his name is also George. He went out and got a price from an independent contractor, including permits, for about $680. So the thought was that we could do our own building, because we're 4 owners in here, and we would agree to do it for $680 and replace all the panels. The board is telling us that even if we did that, they'll still charge us the difference between the $680 and the $900.
Yeah, but the board is right. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Why?
But this happens all the time. The board goes out, the board gets bids, and no insult to you, George, at all. No, I'm just telling you what generally happens all the time. Board will go out, the board will get bids, the bids come back at $1 million, and someone will say, my friend, my buddy, my son-in-law, my uncle, my cousin could do the job for $900,000, and we'll save $100,000. And the board, does the board have to go with the lowest bidder? No. What does the statute require? The statute requires competitive bidding. Does it require you to go with the lowest bid? No. Do you have the authority? If it's not a multi-condominium, even if it is, you're governed by one association. The association determines who gets to make those repairs, like it or not. I understand you'd rather use somebody else. I rather understand that you would think you could save money. But when you think about it, what's the contract going to say with the contractor? The only one that could sign the contract would have to be a contract between the electrical company and the association, not the electrical company and 2 Georges who happen to live in the same building, right? So the association is the one responsible. So unfortunately, unless you can talk the board into allowing the association to contract with the new company in total for everybody, then I agree the cost of the repairs for the entire community simply needs to be shared by everybody, whatever that total bill is. So let's say you wind up saving a few $1,000s, for your building, even if they go with someone else for your building. Well, that saving is not just going to be for your building. That bill is going to get split again amongst everybody. So, unfortunately, I know it's not the answer that you want to hear, George and George, but that is the answer of the day, okay? Guys, keep the calls coming in. Keep the questions on YouTube coming in. And we got to take our bottom of the hour break. Taking the calls at 877-850-8585, 877-850-8585. Back right after this.
Is your condominium or HOA in need of accounting services? Look no further. Gerstel, Rosen & Goldenberg is one of South Florida's largest accounting and auditing firms, as recognized by the South Florida Business Journal, and is one of the few accounting firms uniquely specialized to provide accounting services to their growing condominium and homeowner association clientele throughout Florida. With primary offices in Aventura and Boca Raton, satellite offices in Naples and Orlando, and a professional staff of 65, Gerstel, Rosen & Goldenberg is prepared to meet the needs of any condominium or HOA in the state. The professionals at Gerstel, Rosen & Goldenberg also have experience working with timeshares, cooperatives, hotel condominiums, mixed-use buildings, and ancillary operations like restaurants, spas, and country clubs. Put their 25 years experience in your corner. Gerstel, Rosen & Goldenberg, 305-937-0116. That's 305-937-0116 or grgcpa.com.
Someday, you will need insurance. And for that day, you'll be glad you wrote down Insurco Insurance and Financial Services. Why? Because Insurco virtually insures everything. They're a full-line insurance agency that'll put together the best possible coverage and premium for almost anything. Need homeowners or condo insurance? Call Insurco. Need auto or motorcycle insurance? Call Insurco. Out golf cart insurance or trailer and RV insurance? Just call Insurco for a free quote. They're open every day. From renters insurance, officers and directors insurance, and personal liability umbrellas to all types of business insurance, boat insurance, cancer policies, life, health, and annuities. All you need is Insurco. Get a free quote. They service Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. Speak English and Spanish. Insurco Insurance and Financial Services. It's the only name you need. Office at 14401 West Sunrise Boulevard in Sunrise. Inside Edmore Chevrolet.
Call 954-846-1206. 954-846-1206. That's 954-846-1206.
Need an insurance evaluation, audit, or quotation for your condo association or homeowners association? If so, then you need to speak with our insurance experts at Mack & Waltz. We insure over 800 associations, and we are the clear leader in this marketplace. Mack & Waltz has been in business since 1989. We write insurance on billions of dollars of property values. We are an independent insurance agency representing insurance companies which specialize in condo and HOA insurance. The staff at Mack & Waltz works closely with board members and property managers and regularly attends association meetings to help educate the association about their insurance policies. To learn more about how Mack & Waltz can save you money and improve your insurance program, call now 954-640-6225 and ask for Greg Waltz. 954-640-6225. Mack & Waltz Insurance Group. Let us protect your association. Welcome back to Condo, Craze, and HOAs here on 850 WFTL, the second half hour. Don't wait till the very end to give us a call at 877-850-8585 to ask Eric Glazer, who's an expert on condos and HOAs and crazy stuff. 877-850-8585. Some good questions on our YouTube channel in the chat area.
No question. Marie Lupo asks a good one. What would be a reason to cancel an upcoming board election? So the only real reason that you could cancel a board election, Marie, is if there was a procedural defect with the way it was done. So, for example, it required the date of the election to be on a certain day, month, time, and a different date was chosen. Got to do a new election. Or if you send out the first notice and the first notice contains errors, that, we're electing 3 people, well, you really were electing 9 people. It could be that the first notice says the annual meeting is, today is what, the 16th, 17th, the 17th? So let's say it said Sunday the 20th instead of Sunday the 17th. Obviously, there's an error in the date. So, again, for procedural, technical problems, that's the only way that you should cancel the election. If you look at the Florida condominium statute and you look at the Florida administrative code, it specifically says, for example, like when you do a condo election, everybody gets a chance to submit their resume, saying basically why you should vote for me. This is my education, this is my qualifications, this is my experience. The person sends it in, right? And then the board does their second mailing. They don't include the people's resumes. Well, guess what? The statute the administrative code, I should say, specifically says that requires a new election. So plenty of reasons to have a new election. Again, it has to do with procedural malfunctions, procedural errors that you've made along the way getting to the election. Then it's required by law to, again, start the process over. How about we go to, is it Faith in Singer Island?
Hello?
Hey, Faith, good morning.
Good morning. I have a question regarding our condominium documents and electronic voting.
Sure.
Our condominium documents state that voting must be in person or by limited proxy. Is the board allowed to vote for electronic voting to add to that without
Absolutely.
changing our amendment?
That's a great question. And the answer to that question is yes.
That online voting is what you're asking?
It's actually electronic voting.
Okay.
You go and you hire an independent company. There are independent companies that do the whole process for you.
Okay.
They do the mailing to everybody in advance. They give you a special code that only goes to your home that allows you to log in, and you got to put the code in so that we know it's actually you who's casting the vote. And I'll be honest with you, when that originally came out, I don't know if I trusted it so much, but I will tell you this, in those elections that I've been involved with so far that has allowed electronic voting, it's worked out relatively well. I haven't been a problem whatsoever. Typically how it works, and I went to one about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, the electronic voting will take place. Let's say the people will have 2-3 weeks to get their vote in electronically. Again, they go to a website, they'll see the people's names, they check who to vote for, but they got to have their own online password to get in, specific for their home, right? They cast their vote. I show up to the annual meeting, and I go over to the computer, I get the person on the phone, and I say, okay, walk me through it. What do you have as of right now? And they tell me, okay, Joe has 51 votes, Sam has 29 votes, Sarah has 38 votes, and so on and so forth. And I say, and are the polls closed electronically? And the answer is yes. Okay? So they're closed. So I now know before I go and do my end, before I do the paper ballots, how much everybody's starting with. So what's my first job I got to do to make sure that there's no error, so that, Marie, we don't have to start the process over again? We got to make sure that people didn't vote twice. Sometimes they'll vote electronically, and sometimes they'll also send in an envelope. And you're like, wait a minute, they don't get a chance to vote twice. Maybe they got confused or whatever. So what's going to count in that regard? The electronic ballot is going to count rather than the paper one. So I have to discard the paper one, and now we open them up, and we add the paper ballots to the results of the electronic ballots, and somebody comes out a winner. And the only thing I can tell you is so far it works very well. And yes, the board can do it. The only thing the board has to do in order to allow for electronic voting is to actually pass a resolution that allows for it, regardless of what your governing documents say. Simply a board resolution is required. Okay? People would have to opt into it. Then they'd have the ability to opt out as well. But again, seems to be working really, really well.
This would be to change amendments also, not...
No, you don't. Yes, you can. You use that procedure to vote to change amendments? Absolutely. It's not just for voting for annually at your annual meeting, you can definitely use electronic voting to amend your governing documents as well. And again, I'll say this: a lot of bad things, of course, came out of COVID, but I'm trying to say this in a delicate manner. There's a lot of positive things we've learned from the COVID experience. Number one is, if given the chance, no question about it, you will get more participation from the owners if they're allowed to attend and vote from the privacy of their own home, if you're not forcing them to show up at a meeting. They are very comfortable complying, voting, getting involved from their home. But if you make them come to a meeting, you will get far less participation. So as far as participation goes, greatest thing that happened was COVID. Say it again.
Can this be done on your community website, or should this be done by an outside vendor?
No, this should be done by an outside vendor, right? And there's several companies out there that actually have the software that's now capable of doing this.
So nobody else has any kind of
right.
way to get in there and tweak it.
Technically, nobody's supposed to know what the results are at any moment. Only the person who's running it, only the company that's running it, is supposed to know what the results are electronically on Election Day. And all I can tell you is, so far, there's not a single challenge that I know of. It's been working very, very well. I've heard no complaints about it.
I have a question, Eric, about the general election, and we had all the paper ballots. You brought up a good point about the duplicate voting.
Yes.
Did they check to see if people that send in a paper ballot didn't show up in person?
Yeah. If they showed up in person, that you just got to make sure if they showed up in person, they don't cast the paper ballot if they've already voted electronically. Now, I'll also tell you one more important thing. Again, one thing leads to another. This is interesting. This is really interesting. So you need to have a quorum at your annual meeting in order to do any business other than the election, right? If people vote, right, electronically, right, their vote electronically counts as if they were present in the room. So their number counts towards a quorum. However, if somebody votes by paper, by sending in a paper ballot, even though their same vote is there, the paper ballot is not counted toward a quorum. It makes no sense whatsoever that if you vote by paper, your vote doesn't count towards a quorum. If you vote electronically, your vote does count towards having a quorum at your meeting. But that's the current state of the law, and it's an argument certainly in favor of having electronic voting so that you can do more at your annual meeting other than simply have the election. But running late. We got to take our final break of the hour. Keep the calls coming in. Keep the questions coming in. 877-850-8585. 877-850-8585. Back right after this.
Is your home or condo looking old, worn out, and in need of a fresh look? Then you need PD Painting to paint your property and make it look like new again. PD Painting will first properly prepare your home and condo and then use only the highest quality paint products. After many years in the painting industry, PD Painting has achieved a reputation for always delivering a reliable and professional finish. PD Painting is fully licensed and insured and offers a 7 to 10-year warranty. Their technicians are expert craftsmen. Let PD Painting handle all the details and then sit back and watch them restore your property and bring back that brand new look and feel. Need a service call? PD Painting will be there on the spot. Need financing? PD Painting can offer that too. Call PD Painting at 888-416-3204. Again, that's 888-416-3204. Go to the website pdpaintinginc.com. Need painting done in your home and community? Contact the experts at PD Painting.
This message is for anyone who has taken on the important responsibility of becoming an officer or director in a homeowner or condominium association. It is also for the management companies who work closely with these caring people to make sure things are done the right way. Hello, I'm Gil Pomar, South Florida Regional President for Center State Bank, now the second largest bank based in Florida. Our bank, Center State Bank, has an amazing team of professionals who are exclusively dedicated to the homeowner and condo association market. Your job is not easy. There are repairs and new projects that need financing. financing. There are legal and social issues that need to be understood. There are also technology and servicing issues that your residents want to be improved. Why not choose a bank that knows this business backward and forward? Why not have a local banker who will meet with you face to face whenever it is convenient for you or your board? Center State Bank has over 2,000 associations as customers for a reason. Please give us a chance to earn your business. Call Terry Russo at 954-633-1666 to make it happen. Center State Bank is an equal housing lender and a member of the FDIC.
All over the world, people have plumbing problems. These problems can be expensive and destructive to fix. Have you ever wondered if there was a way to take care of your plumbing problems without destruction and an outrageous price tag? Welcome to Pipelining Technologies, Inc., where we specialize in fixing your problems without demolition and minimum cutting by means of pipelining. Pipelining is the ability to take a pipe damaged by root intrusion or long-term deterioration and make it new by means of inserting an epoxy-saturated liner into the pipe and allowing it to harden or cure, leaving behind a brand new pipe.
That sounds great. How can I get pipelining in my home, commercial building, or condominium?
Simply fill out our online contact form and a pipelining representative will get in touch with you in a timely fashion, or call us directly at 561-853-5463.
Welcome back to Condo, Craze, and HOAs here on 850 WFTL. Karen Curtis with attorney Eric Glazer. He is board certified in community association law. We've been doing the show for 13 years. He knows about which he speaks. And if you'd like to call him, 877-850-8585. That's a toll-free number, and we're live on YouTube at Condo, Craze, and HOAs.
And after 13 years, I'm bound to answer at least one question correctly, right?
Yes.
It's going to happen eventually.
I think so.
All right. How about we go to... is it Kathy? Kathy writes in, we have a board that is obsessed with violations for the residents. However, they are neglecting our property. Can we as a group serve them with a violation notice for their actions on property upkeep? I like the question. I like the spirit behind the question. But no, you can't serve your board with a violation. But I'll tell you, we're hitting so many different areas today. It's pretty
violation. I see you've met Cynthia.
Right, exactly. But there is a statute out there that says if your board fails to take corrective action to make necessary repairs, you can take your board to court, right? And the court can order the board to make repairs to the property. And I'll tell you, though, in today's times, obviously in a post-Champlain Towers world, if you come forward with evidence that your board is shirking their responsibilities and not making repairs, no question that a judge may appoint a receiver to take over the building and ensure that the building remains safe. You can also sue the directors for breach of their fiduciary duty. But what you can't do is you can't actually serve them with a violation. And, of course, to do the obvious, you can recall them. And, again, what's the recall process? A majority of the unit owners get together. They fill out a ballot. Everyone signs their own ballot, I should say. Everybody puts a check mark in the box that says recall the specific board member. You can recall one board member, a number of board members, or even the entire board if you don't think they're doing their job. So, no, you can't give them a violation notice, Kathy, but there's certainly a lot of alternatives that you have so that your board has to act and they have no choice. John Super asks, what contracts and bids must be on the condo website? I got to look at the statute, but I believe any and all bids have to be maintained for a period of 1 year. So that's what actually has to be on the website, and I'll double check that. But I'm pretty sure bids have to be maintained for 1 year. Helen writes in, does a limited proxy count toward a quorum for an annual meeting? Yes, it does. So that's typically sent out when you do your condo mailing. The second mailing goes out. The condo will prepare, and I do this all the time, I'll prepare a limited proxy saying that you're not giving someone this proxy to vote for you. The purpose of this proxy is that it's simply counted as if you were present, so we can get to a quorum to actually have a board meeting, to have an annual meeting, I should say. Okay? So, yes, sending out general proxies just to have the person counted as if they were present is a smart thing to do, because it will let you have an annual meeting which includes something other than, right, the counting of the ballots. How about we go back to the phones and we go to Jerry in Lauderhill. Keep them coming, everybody. 877-850-8585. Do not wait for the last minute. Hate hanging up on people, so keep them coming. Jerry.
Yes.
How can we help you, Jerry?
You have great control sitting beside that beautiful woman every week.
You're so sweet, Jerry.
Wow.
Woof.
Well, sometimes she lets me touch her knee. It's
He's like 45 minutes away from me, actually.
That's right. Nobody realizes it. Nobody realizes it. Okay, how can we help? Karen, I see you blushing from here.
The city of Miramar having a lawsuit about the water.
No, I'm not familiar. Tell me about it.
Well, apparently a bunch of people, everybody has a lot of leaks, and they're suing the city.
Okay.
But I've been 4 months trying to find the leak, and then I found out all of a sudden that the city's being sued because the leaks are part of the whole thing that was put in by when they built the houses, I guess.
I'm not familiar with it. I'm not. I did not hear that there's a lawsuit about the city getting sued for any problems with plumbing or anything like that. But if someone out there actually knows, tune in. Let us know. I have no idea what's going on.
The city needs to do pipeline. What is it called? That's a commercial on your show? Pipeline.
Pipeline technology, where they take your pipe and they put a plastic pipe inside of it.
So
pretty amazing.
Eric,
yes.
You call it John Supa ass?
Yeah, John Supa
asked.
Okay. Yeah.
John Supa is asking, are there any plans to put the seminars on YouTube? And my question is, what if you did a YouTube seminar, just put it out there in video? Would that still be a way for them to get certified?
See,
if you put it on YouTube,
you got to take this when you're doing these seminars. You got to take it seriously. So when someone, and now it's becoming increasingly more difficult to verify people's presence.
Okay.
Because when they do it at home, but you're allowed. The law is now allowing us all to do these board certification meetings on the internet. Now, if we do it by Zoom, right, it's pretty amazing. Zoom is incredible.
It is.
I get at the end of the meeting, right, the meeting closes, I'm able to go to a setting on Zoom, and I know every person that was present at the meeting, and I know how long they were exactly tuned in. So there are people that'll call and say, hey, I never got my degree. I never got my certificate. How come?
Oh, they weren't tuned in.
And I'll say, you know why? Because I got you listed there for 12 minutes. And so you're not going to get it. Oh, but no, I saw the whole thing. No, I got you there for 12 minutes. So, don't try to BS me. You're not getting it. Try again. So the problem is, suppose we tried to do that with Zoom. I don't know if there's a way to actually do it on Zoom and to actually have everybody check in and know the attendance of everybody. That's the problem with doing it. I should say, on YouTube.
Well, no.
How do you check everybody's attendance?
No, I'm saying do the Zoom,
right,
and then just show the part of you speaking. That part, put that up on YouTube.
Yep. You know what?
But
anything go. We're learning as we go.
That
right?
won't be a certification, obviously, but it's a learning tool.
Right. Robert, the guy who does the vaccine stuff on the show and teaching Brandon, by the way, how to do it, he just writes in and says, have everybody turn their camera on and sit in front of the camera. And, yep, that might be another way to do it,
it's
right?
a good idea.
Yeah, so...
But or just do an episode. Our shows here are very informative, right? But what if you just, you have some sort of a thing that you follow when you do your your sessions or whatever you call them, the education course. What if you just did that on YouTube?
You can, but then I can't give you credit for it
right.
because I don't know how you did it.
Right. If you watch the whole thing.
Yes. But someone just wrote in and they want to know what is required. Is a resolution required? and I'm trying to get the statute up, but yes, in order to have electronic voting, and by the way, it's not email voting. Everybody gets confused and they say, no,
it's a
I
website.
I heard you can vote by email now. No, you cannot vote by email now, okay? What you can do is you can vote electronically, and the question is, what does electronic mean? It does not mean email. It does not mean you can send a filled-out ballot to your manager and says, here, this is how I'm voting. Definitely can't do that. It's got to be done by a company that completely is, different, separate, and I'll read you right from the statute. The section applies to an association that provides for and authorizes an online system pursuant to this section by a board resolution. So you need a board resolution. The board resolution must provide that the owners receive notice of the opportunity to vote through an online voting system, must establish reasonable procedures and deadlines for unit owners to consent in writing to online voting, and must establish reasonable procedures and deadlines for unit owners to opt out of online voting after giving their consent. So someone may originally say, yeah, I want to do this, but then say, no, I don't want to do it anymore, and they have to have the ability to say, I want to vote by hand. I want to go back to paper ballots, right? Written notice of the meeting in which the resolution is considered must be mailed, delivered, or electronically transmitted to the unit owners and posted conspicuously on the condo property at least 14 days before the meeting. So, you condo owners out there, if you want to switch to an electronic voting system, again, you heard me basically endorse it today. I think it works pretty well, gets the community involved. Got to do it by board resolution. It's got to be noticed at least 14 days in advance. Unit owners have to be given the ability to opt in and opt out, and I think once that happens, the system works well. Okay? And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I got that 30-second whisper in my ear. If you need legal help during the week, just give Glazer and Sachs a call. 954-983-1112. Again, 954-983-1112. And everybody, I want to wish you a happy and a healthy Passover and Easter. Have a great, healthy,
Eric.
safe week. Can't wait to meet everybody this week at the seminars, and we'll speak to you again next Sunday on Condo Craze.